Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for general informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute professional financial or legal advice. Pension regulations can be complex and may vary based on individual circumstances. For personalized guidance regarding your specific pension situation, please consult with a qualified pension advisor, financial consultant, or contact your local pension authority directly. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing something that affects millions of people born between 1956 and 1960, and if you fall into this age group, you absolutely need to pay attention, because starting March 1st, a new pension rule comes into effect that could significantly impact your retirement benefits. Now, I know pension regulations can seem complicated and sometimes even overwhelming, but don't worry. I'm going to break everything down for you in clear, simple terms so that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's changing, who it affects, and most importantly, what you need to do about it. Before we dive in, if you find this information helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell so you never miss important updates about pensions, retirement planning, and financial topics that matter to you. And if you have questions or experiences to share, drop them in the comments section below because I read every single one, and your input helps other viewers too. So let's get straight into it. What exactly is this new pension rule that's causing so much attention? The regulation we're talking about today primarily concerns the transition into retirement for those born between 1956 and 1960. This demographic is currently at or approaching retirement age, and the new rule affects how and when they can access their full pension benefits. For decades, pension systems have been evolving to adapt to changing demographics, longer life expectancies, and economic realities. The birth years 1956 through 1960 represent a specific cohort that's experiencing a transitional phase in pension eligibility requirements. What made sense for someone born in 1950 doesn't necessarily apply the same way to someone born in 1958, and that's exactly what this new rule addresses. The core change revolves around the statutory retirement age and the conditions under which you can receive your full pension without deductions. Historically, many people in this age bracket were planning their retirement based on older regulations, but the March 1st implementation means those plans might need adjustment. Here's what you need to understand. The new rule establishes more precise guidelines for early retirement options, penalty-free pension access, and the calculation of benefits based on your specific birth year within this range. Someone born in 1956 will have slightly different conditions than someone born in 1960, even though both fall under this new regulatory framework. One of the most significant aspects of this change involves the minimum age at which you can begin drawing pension benefits without facing permanent reductions. Under previous regulations, there was more flexibility, but the new rule tightens these requirements to ensure the long-term sustainability of the pension system. For those of you born in 1956, you're looking at one set of requirements. If you were born in 1957, there's a slight adjustment. Those born in 1958, 1959, and 1960 each face incrementally different conditions. This graduated approach recognizes that even within a 5-year span, retirement planning needs can vary considerably. The practical impact of this rule means that if you were planning to retire at a certain age based on what you heard from friends, read in older materials, or assumed based on when your older siblings retired, you need to verify that information against the new regulation. What was true even 2 years ago might not apply to your specific situation today. Another critical element involves contribution years. The new rule places additional emphasis on how many years you've contributed to the pension system. Those with longer contribution histories may have more favorable options than those with gaps in their employment or contribution records. This is particularly relevant for people who took time off for child rearing, education, or periods of unemployment. There are also provisions within this new rule that address special circumstances. For example, individuals with severe disabilities, those who worked in particularly demanding occupations, or people with specific health conditions may qualify for exceptions or alternative pathways to pension benefits. However, these exceptions require proper documentation and often need to be applied for well in advance. The financial implications of this rule change can be substantial. Depending on when you choose to retire and how your personal situation aligns with the new requirements, you could see differences of hundreds or even thousands in annual pension payments. That's not an insignificant amount, especially when you consider that retirement can span 20, 30, or even more years. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine two people, both born in 1958, both with similar work histories. One person takes the time to understand the new rule, plans accordingly, and optimizes their retirement timing based on the March 1st changes. The other person proceeds based on outdated information and retires without considering the new regulation. Over the course of their retirement, the difference in total pension income could be enormous. Now, you might be wondering what specific actions you should take. First and foremost, verify your personal pension information. Contact your pension provider, request an updated projection of your benefits, and specifically ask how the March 1st rule change affects your individual situation. Don't rely on general information alone because pension calculations depend on your unique work history, contribution record, and personal circumstances. Second, if you are planning to retire in the coming months or within the next year or two, schedule a consultation with a pension advisor. Many pension authorities offer free counseling services, and this is absolutely worth taking advantage of. A trained advisor can walk you through scenarios, help you understand trade-offs between retiring earlier versus later, and ensure you're making informed decisions. Third, gather your documentation. You'll want to have records of your employment history, any periods of unemployment or benefits receipt, documentation of child-rearing years, and any other factors that might affect your pension calculation. Having these materials organized will make any consultation or application process much smoother. It's also worth considering your broader retirement plan in light of this rule change. If the new regulation means you need to work longer than you anticipated, how does that affect your other retirement savings, your health insurance planning, or your personal goals for retirement? Sometimes a rule change like this requires adjustments beyond just the pension itself. For those of you who are married or have partners, this rule change might affect household retirement planning in complex ways. Spousal benefits, survivor pensions, and household income calculations all interact with individual pension entitlements. So it's important to look at the complete picture rather than just one person's benefits in isolation. There's also the question of continued employment while receiving pension benefits. The new rule includes updated provisions about how much you can earn from work while also drawing a pension. If you were planning a phased retirement where you work part-time while receiving partial pension benefits, make sure you understand how the March 1st changes affect those calculations. One thing I want to emphasize is that while change can feel unsettling, information is power. The worst thing you can do is ignore this rule change and hope it doesn't apply to you. The best thing you can do is take proactive steps to understand your situation and plan accordingly. Remember, pension systems exist to support you in retirement, but they require you to navigate them correctly. Think of it like this. You wouldn't drive to an unfamiliar destination without checking the current route and traffic conditions. Similarly, you shouldn't navigate your retirement journey without understanding the current rules and how they apply to your specific circumstances. As we approach the conclusion of this video, I want to remind you that the March 1st implementation date is rapidly approaching. If you haven't already started looking into how this affects you, now is the time to begin that process. Waiting until after the rule is in effect might limit your options or cause unnecessary stress. To recap the key points, if you were born between 1956 and 1960, a new pension rule takes effect March 1st that affects retirement age requirements, benefit calculations, and access to pension payments. The specific impact varies based on your exact birth year, contribution history, and personal circumstances. Your action steps are to verify your personal pension information, consult with a pension advisor, gather necessary documentation, and adjust your retirement planning as needed. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you found this information valuable, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends or family members who might be affected by this rule change, and subscribe to the channel for more content about retirement planning, pensions, and financial topics that matter to real people. Drop any questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to point you in the right direction for answers. Until next time, take care and plan wisely for the retirement you deserve.